If you allow AI to control you and direct you, you will eventually be replaced. That is the way things work. So good morning, Dee. Or shall I say good afternoon, Dee?
Good afternoon, Em. What are we doing here?
Why are we sitting, firstly, why are we in front of the camera, both of us?
hmm
And what are we doing sitting in the garden?
What are we doing sitting in a very beautiful, very green, almost summer garden for us?
And I think the answer to that lies in today's discussion. And as much as we in our podcast sit and talk about life and building the life you choose and building a life of resilience, we don't always talk about the tools that we use.
Mm.
And what people may not realize is that we run a relatively serious business, and we run it according to very strong business principles. And this means that we get to use tools. And one of those tools is AI. And we, as with everything we do things very, very consciously and mindfully. So our journey with AI has been a very deliberate one. It has not been using ChatGPT as a search engine. That is not how one uses AI. We have chosen very carefully the tools we use, which LLM we use, which agents we use, and we have a very, very efficient and effective way that we use AI. And as we are sitting outside and it's beautiful, AI has enabled us to experience life differently. Because, Dee, what did we do about an hour ago before we had something to eat?
So this morning we decided we need to go for a bit of a walk. We live out in the country and we have access to farm roads. We can just take the puppies and go for a stroll whenever we want to, but we've been bad about it for the last couple of weeks. We get busy, and as many people know, when you actually need to put your health first, it's often a thing that does not come first. It comes second, third, and then just falls off completely. So this afternoon, or rather this morning, we decided, listen, let's just take a walk. And we will go before lunch and we'll see if the girls want to come for a walk with us. But while we do that, we are going to take a phone with us and we're going to take these things that I call fuss rabbits. They are little lapel microphones that you clip on, and there's a other interesting little thing that you plug into your device, and the two can communicate with one another, and then two people can be communicating at the same time. So I dropped my phone in my pockets of my pants and we strolled up the hill. We took a walk. But while we were having this conversation, we had what I think one should call a meeting. We had a couple of agenda points that we had to run through, and we can have that in the office. We can sit down, we can have a cup of tea, and we can make notes and we can discuss whatever we want to do. And we often do that. But we decided to take this opportunity for a walk. And while we have our walk, we have this recording running. So the transcript is going to be interesting because the transcript will have things in between like, ooh, be careful, there's a creature in the grass that you don't want to step on, or look at how one of the puppies just arrived, she thought we already left without her, or whatever the case might be. But that was one of the things that when we started looking at AI and the tool of AI and why we decided to use this specific tool that we are talking about today, why we went with this one. And that was the power of transcripts. Because when we started doing a specific thing in our business about 2 years ago, what happened a lot was you would be out in the field, maybe making notes, and you would record those and then send them on to me. And I'm a relatively good typer, and I would then be playing these voice notes while sitting in front of the computer, typing up things. But as anyone who's ever transcribed anything knows, you always have this issue with filler words, and you're not always sure about what the person just said. And the other thing that happens, and I know I'm very guilty of it, is you will have a thought and you think you have expressed it very well, but at the end of the conversation you realize you said something then, you said something then, you put a little bit there, and it's a mushmash, and it's not always that coherent. So when we then started looking at AI tools that we could use, firstly as transcription services, and then secondly maybe as something that has a brain involved, one of the tools that came up that we were very interested in at that stage was
And,
Notta.ai.
and I think one needs to remember that with our business, we are very, very, very privacy focused. The clients that we deal with have very confidential data. We
Like everyone does, quite frankly, you're a fool if you think your data should belong to anyone. It shouldn't. There should be things that you always keep private.
so our choice of tool and transcription service had to be completely private, not just on paper saying we value your privacy, which is code for we are going to sell your data to anyone that pays a high enough price, or anyone that asks loudly enough, or anyone that is connected with someone that we feel you should not be connected. Privacy is a really real and important term. And because we value not only our own privacy so much, but that of our clients, we searched long and hard before we made the decision. And that was the primary reason for using the service that we use. When we started researching Notta, which is the product that we use, and we will be going through over the next while how to use and how to get the most out of Notta specifically, but it applies to any LLM or AI agent. It was quite primitive when we started using it, probably a year and a half ago now that we really started working with Notta.ai. But what has happened since then is not only has the AI and the interface and the capability of Notta improved drastically, but we have built up a database. And I think that is probably the thing that we would like to stress the most in this specific episode is the importance of using your own data. In this day of really sloppy adoption of new technology where people will chase the brightest, shiniest object very easily and buy into the marketing spiel and buy into the sales spiel, it is so important to realize that as one needs to exercise mindfulness in every part of your life, what you eat, what you do with your body, how you live, where you live.
What you
One,
consume, what you spend your time with, the attention that you give to things.
one has to adopt the same approach with the AI tools that you use and how you use them. And it's not by accident that this is our first YouTube video together as a podcast. And whilst there are a couple of interviews on this channel and some various other videos, this is our first podcast discussion because it sets the foundation for something that we will explore in more depth, and that is using AI as a tool and not becoming a product of the AI that you use. It is very important that as you start journeying and working with AI, that it doesn't just keep you busy and give you another excuse to stay busy. Because if you allow AI to control you and direct you, you will eventually be replaced. That is the way things work. Whereas if you are the master and you are the one that controls, and not only will you not lose your job, you will be able to leverage your own abilities and your own data to serve you and amplify what you're good at. And you will have to do less of what you don't want to do. And I think that is really the crux of, I think, this journey that we're going to take people on, is how to do and how to engage and choose an AI agent that will serve your purposes and where you will always be in charge and will not become lazy and will not produce slop that anyone else can produce. If one looks at channels on YouTube, for example, one is starting to see more and more AI produced content coming out there, and it all looks the same.
It's too perfect almost as well.
Absolutely. And there was a reason why we chose to sit out here, and there was always going to be a chance that one of the chickens would climb up on the table with us.
Or that the rooster is going to give his very expressive call at some stage. It's probably still going to happen.
Because in this age of technology and AI and synthetic creation, there is not only a need, but there's a desire for authenticity. And we will share with you some of our journey on how we have remained authentic whilst leveraging technology to live a very, very authentic life.
For those of you who may already be interested in or may have heard of the tool we use, which is called Notta.ai, you can go into the bio and the description of this particular video, and if you're listening to it on a podcast, we will link it there as well. And we have a 10% discount code on it. You can then just follow the link, read through all the terms and conditions, make sure you agree with those, like with anything else in life. And then our mission with the next couple of episodes is to just share real life examples. You can go on the internet and you can find tutorials for just about everything, but we've also learned that we each have our own needs and perspectives on how we use certain things. I'm not sure that there are plenty of people who take their little fuzz rabbits and take a walk with their puppies up the hill while making a recording that they are going to then later on transcribe and pull valuable information out of. So if you are interested, you will find details in the show notes. Enjoy your journey too.
Enjoy your journey to exploring AI tools deliberately and consciously.
Wherever that journey up the hill may take you.